I'm just going to see if I can make this full screen.
There are some seats dispersed throughout. Welcome, everybody. I'm Sabine, and on behalf of Secretary Garcia at the California Environmental Protection Agency, I'll be speaking, but she's provided some brief remarks via video, so I'm going to watch this first.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm sorry I can't be with you all in person. It's always an honor to hold space at USEPA Region 9's Tribal Conference. My name is Yana Garcia. I'm California Secretary for Environmental Protection, and I oversee the California Environmental Protection Agency and its 6 boards, departments, and offices, which include the California Air Resources Board, the State Water Resources Control Board, the Office of Environmental Health Hazards Assessment, CalEPA, the Department of Pesticide Regulation, and the Department of Toxic Substances Control. Our mission at CalEPA is to restore and protect the environment and to ensure long-term public health and economic vitality, with a focus on addressing deeply rooted inequities in our most vulnerable communities. My goals as Secretary include securing a safe, clean, and sustainable water supply for all California communities and local economies, reducing waste streams and moving toward their full elimination through catalyzing investments in a truly circular economy, and ensuring that our path to achieving carbon neutrality prioritizes important benefits to human health and the preservation of our ecosystems, including the communities and tribal lands that are most vulnerable. At CalEPA, we recognize, value, and thank tribes for your leadership in environmental stewardship since time immemorial. This experience and the collective wisdom of traditional ecological knowledge is invaluable as we continue to navigate the changing climate, restore balance to our ecosystems, and address historical inequities. As the state of California works to integrate and support tribes' respective traditional knowledges in all that we do, we at CalEPA look forward to improving and strengthening this long-term commitment to build on our relationships. One way we do this is by prioritizing our CalEPA Tribal Advisory Committee, which for over a decade has provided invaluable guidance as we actively pursue the state's joint sovereign interest with tribes to safeguard and protect the state's precious resources for the benefit of current and future generations. I know that some of our TAC members are there today with you, and they've been instrumental in our agency's accountability to tribes. CalEPA was indeed one of the first agencies to adopt a tribal consultation policy, and 4 years ago we adopted a tribal consultation protocol to provide guidance to all of our boards, departments, and offices within our CalEPA umbrella because of our tax work. Each CalEPA board department engages with a variety of activities and programs that implement our priorities. I hope that you all can get to know the CalEPA representatives who are at the conference today. Their commitment to partnering with California tribes is critical to me and to the Newsom administration overall. I'm happy to announce that one of our newest hires, Deputy Secretary for Intergovernmental Relations, Sabine Talaugon, is with you all today. She comes to us with extensive experience in tribal relations, and I'm excited for her to be with you. She will be leading our tribal, border, and federal work here at CalEPA, and we felt that intergovernmental relations better captures the government-to-government relationship between CalEPA and tribes. Sabine will provide some updates on her work since the last conference. I look forward to continuing to strengthen CalEPA's relationship with California Native American tribes under Sabine's leadership. Thank you all for attending the session. Thank you to the Viejas Band, the Kumeyaay Indians, and USEPA Region 9 for hosting this opportunity for us all to connect. CalEPA staff will be available throughout the conference, and I encourage you to please reach out to share your thoughts on how we can better partner together. Have a great rest of your conference.
Sabine Talaugon, Alulapu, Nis Malchunashi No. Hi everybody, I'm Sabine, and I am the Deputy Secretary for Intergovernmental Relations at CalEPA, as Yana said. And intergovernmental relations includes tribal relations, and that's something that I've been working on in various capacities, and I'm very excited to be in this capacity now, and to be a California Native person in an executive position with the state. I want to just acknowledge some of my CalEPA folks in the room. Donna mentioned, or Secretary Garcia mentioned, the Tribal Advisory Committee. We have Sarah Ryan here. I'm not sure if you have anyone else. Noah's back there. We have the California Air Resources Board card. If you can just raise your hand so that people can know who you are. So if you want to have conversations with these folks, they'll be around. We also have the Department of Pesticide Regulation, DPR. We have the State Water Board here. Janet, folks, thank you. Power Cycle. Hello, guys. And then OEHA, our Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment. Yeah. And then I think we have some state partners in the room as well. Deputy Secretary Geneva Thompson from California Natural Resources Agency. Anybody else? PTSD? All right. I'm sorry, PTSD. Department of Toxic Substance Control. So thank you all for being in the room and being in relationship with our agency. I'm going to share briefly some of CalEPA's accomplishments over the last year, and I want to leave plenty of time for questions and conversation afterwards. But the themes that I'll be talking about are capacity building, data, water, and then engagement and grant opportunities. So starting with capacity building and learning, there are many ways which our boards, departments, and offices, which we call PDOs, are bolstering our tribal affairs. And CalRecycle recently established an Office of Environmental Justice, Tribal Relations, Education, and Outreach. And so last year they appointed Deputy Director Katrina Lenny-Koenig to lead the office, and the office has since onboarded 4 new staff members. DTSC has also added 2 new staff members to their Office of Environmental Justice and Tribal Affairs team. And then CARB just this last month, I believe, added another staff member with tribal liaison duties. So with regard to staffing, it's important that we help build our capacity to do good tribal engagement and tribal consultation, but it's also important for us to figure out ways to help tribes apply your knowledge and cultural practices to build a safer environment. So in that vein, the State Water Board program SWAMP, or the Surface Water Ambient Monitoring Program, in partnership with the California Indian Environmental Alliance, is offering a tribally centered bioaccumulation monitoring training series. And so registration is now open for the final 2 courses of this program. So one of them is the bioaccumulation data analysis interpretation. That's going to be on December 2nd. And the other is an OEHA fish consumption advisory development on December 10th. So if you're interested in that, please find our CalEPA Water Board's table later, and we will exchange contact information to register. The purpose of this training series is to support California Native American tribes in developing programs in terms of bioaccumulation monitoring, data analysis, and data use processes, and enable tribes and other bioaccumulation monitoring groups to adopt those processes into their workflows and more easily partner with the program and the Safe to Eat work group. I don't think she's sorry, I don't have slides. But kind of moving on to cultural burning, which is obviously one of the most important ways that we manage fuels that can cause the most intense wildfires in California. The state and federal government haven't always been good about the state when it comes to the benefits of cultural gardens. But the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, coordinated our participation in the California Air Pollution Control Officers Association prescribed fire trainings earlier this year in Ukiah, Modesto, and San Diego. Tribal representatives from the Caddo tribe of Lakeville, Rancheria, Greenville, Rancheria, and the Climate Science Alliance educated participants who were mainly air quality regulators about the traditional ecological knowledge and more specifically about the practice of cultural burning. This is a great way for air quality regulators to better understand and permit cultural burning to reduce wildfire risk throughout California, and we hope to continue these learning opportunities. This past summer, CARB's California Climate Investments Program released a funding workbook for all California tribes. There's a physical one at the table. I'm sorry, can you shout out which table is that?
It's the California Climate Investments table. We've got an exhibitor table right outside.
Awesome, thank you. And it's a physical workbook. I've heard very good things about it. I also just started my job 2 months ago, so apologize for reading and learning, but I'm getting there. But this workbook is a resource designed to guide tribal staff through the funding opportunities available within California climate investments and assess which programs might fit your tribe's needs and priorities and identify next steps for your tribe to pursue funding. If for some reason we run out of these, you can also request them online. Happy to talk to folks about this at the exhibitor tables. Another great knowledge sharing activity this year was OEHA's California Tribes and Climate Change Voices from the Frontlines project. And so in this project, OEHA is producing a series of videos that give tribes the opportunity to tell their stories about climate change. And this is really amplifying tribal voices, recognizing the value of Indigenous knowledge when it comes to climate change. OEHA has worked with the Big Talaugon of Pueblo Indians in Middletown Rancheria, and they premiered that video in January. And then there's a second video with Big Pine tribe of Owens Valley and the Bishop Paiute tribes that's expected to be released by the end of the year. And so this is really a resource for environmental governmental organizations to continue listening and learning from tribes. Talking about data now. Data is obviously an important tool. Without data, we cannot track the progress we've made and the gaps that we're tending to. So one of the data tools that has helped California prioritize many of our resources, funding, and other efforts is California CalEPA screen. OEHA develops CalEPA screen, which is an environmental justice mapping tool used to identify California communities burdened by multiple sources of pollution and vulnerable to its effects. This last updated in 2021, and the forthcoming 5th update to CalEPA screen we use a co-design approach through partnerships with environmental justice community-based organizations and tribes. And it will also include better representation of drinking water contaminants on tribal lands. CalEPA uses CalEPA screen to designate disadvantaged communities or DACs, which are prioritized for California climate investments. So these are kind of the connections between the videos. And so through several years of tribal consultation, we've we've learned that the lack of data on tribal environmental and social conditions have led to their exclusion in terms of that disadvantaged communities designation, despite obviously a very real need. So inclusion of these lands in CalEPA's 2022 disadvantaged communities designation means that tribal trust lands are now prioritized for accessing California climate investment programs. And some of these programs also have funding specifically set aside for tribes, in addition to the disadvantaged communities prioritization. To account for tribes acquiring additional lands and the challenges of identifying precise lands that are under tribes' control, CalEPA updates the disadvantaged communities designation yearly in May based on tribal consultations. The disadvantaged communities map for 2023-2024 is now live and incorporates additional tribal lands, and all tribes have been notified of the newly added parcels, which improve tribes' access to funds. Another tool that I'd like to highlight is the California Climate Risk and Adaptation Index. This index is intended to help Californians understand the climate risks that their local area is projected to face in the future, which should raise awareness and direct resources for climate adaptation needs. CAR presented this tool to the National Tribal Resilience Data Work Group in May, and it will continue to be workshopped throughout its development. The last tool I would like to call out is spray days from the Department of Pesticide Regulation, or DPR. DPR is developing a first of its kind statewide notification system called Spray Days California to provide the public with advanced, transparent, and equitable access to information about agricultural restricted material pesticide applications. Pesticides have both direct and indirect impacts to human health. Pesticides classified as restricted materials can have harmful impacts on the environment and can currently lead to humans. And this new tool will provide notice via email text in advance of their application. DPR's website includes updates and a video demonstration of this radio system and development in the notification system will be launching in the first quarter of 2025. Thank you. Since time immemorial, California and American tribes have used and continue to use water for cultural, spiritual, ceremonial, and traditional practices. And it's important that we continue to work towards protecting our waterways and having tribes guide the way with more tribal ecological knowledge. The state and regional water boards are working to incorporate tribal beneficial uses into their water quality control plans. Beneficial uses are goals that California water boards designate to ensure Californians have access to the highest water quality and can use it for maximum benefit. So the water boards have been, they have identified and described beneficial uses in 2017 that are unique to California Native American tribes. And in addition to subsistence fishing, these include cultural and ceremonial uses of water that set new protections for water quality for activities that are vital to tribal tradition and lifeways. The regional water boards are in the process of working through adding these to their basin planning and are at different stages in the process. We recognize that we should be a lot further along in this process and moving faster, and the state board intends to work with the regional boards to expedite these processes. 4 regional water boards have adopted TDU definitions into their basin plans, and the Manhattan Regional Water Board has begun the process in developing a basin plan amendment to designate Luna Lake and its tributaries with tribal beneficial uses or TDUs. This is just the beginning of this work. Additional work and collaboration are needed with tribes to ensure we are protecting our water quality to ensure tribal beneficial uses, but this will continue to be a priority. The Clear Lake watershed and Pinch or Chai have also been a priority in the water space. In December 2023, the board adopted emergency regulation for the Clear Lake watershed that will be in effect until January 22nd, 2025. The emergency regulations require water users in the Clear Lake watershed to certify their water use type and share measurements and extraction data through July 2024. Information orders were issued to 2,500 properties from January through April of this year. Compliance deadlines vary depending on water use type, and the board will be able to report out data starting next quarter. The water boards are continuing to coordinate with tribes, Lake County officials, state and federal agencies, agricultural groups, and other interested parties on the Clear Lake emergency. Board and staff are working with tribal partners to install flow monitors in the region. And additionally, there was an effort earlier this year with the water boards, CNRA, and CDFW to assist tribes with an application for a grant from US EPA Environmental and Climate Justice Community Change Grant Program. Switching to engagement and grant opportunities, and almost I'm so sorry. Grants are important to reallocate resources back to tribes. I want to uplift our inaugural Environmental Justice Action Grant tribal recipients. In 2024, we funded over $2.7 million to 12 tribes and tribal organizations in California. Their projects will be addressing tribal beneficial uses, illegal dumping prevention, protecting our waterways, and traditional ecological knowledge, creating emergency response protocols, and so much more. I'm really excited to see how these projects work over the next 2 years. Additionally, DTFC also funded a tribe through their Cleanup in Vulnerable Communities Initiative program. I know that it's a huge priority of DTFC to increase tribal representation and funding opportunities. This spring, Power Cycle recommended awards totaling more than $800,000 for its first tribal-specific funding opportunity. And so, looking back at all these accomplishments from CalEPA videos, I'm looking forward to future opportunities to further expand our tribal engagement and putting their priorities and expertise to the forefront. CARB is continuing to develop a tribal engagement strategy for agencies administering California climate investments programs. Over the next 6 months, contractors will be engaged with tribes across the state to inform an engagement strategy and identify best practices for state agencies working with tribes on incentive programs. In the coming year, we're also looking into developing a public aspect of our tribal advisory committee meetings so that other tribal representatives and individuals can participate, track CalEPA's work, and have their voices heard. We have a lot going on here at CalEPA and want to continue being a resource to you all. I know that we have a long way to go to becoming a better government partner. But in my position, I want to express my commitment to strengthening collaboration and partnerships with tribes, improving both the quality, quantity, and coordination of tribal consultation at CalEPA and among our PDOs. If you have any questions that we don't get to right now, folks are in the room and throughout the conference, and thank you for having me, listening to me. Reading disclaimer, we'll do this differently next year. Also, we have tribal resource packet at the CalEPA table, and so this is just, it gives you an idea each of CalEPA has a list of grant programs for each of the PDOs and contact information for the tribal liaisons. I think that's all right. So we'll comments?
Hi, thank you for that wonderful summary and insights into what's going on with CalEPA and the BDOs. And I want to mention that for Clear Lake and the Chai, the work with Chai and all the things that the water boards has done, CalEPA has done to support that work, that one of the things we noticed was, there's still a huge improvement on collaboration with the other state agencies, like CDFW, for example, and also just all the things that Natural Resources Agency is doing to support, environmental protection and the Chai and tribes. And I'm just wondering about the silos and where you see collaboration going with the other agencies, especially to protect listed species, for example. Like just seeing, I've been at this for a while, but like seeing what CDFW and the water boards was able to do for the Chai was just really amazing. So just wondering how that could be more supported with CalEPA.
Yeah. Let's see. Jadika is right there. I don't know if you have any comments for CDFW, and then we also have Adriana or here.
Okay, sweet. Well, thanks, Sarah, and it's a true honor to work with some tribes in and around Clear Lake, as well as the public agencies in Lake County and CalEPA and water boards for increased protections for the Chai fish, which is a beautiful fish that relies on clear waters, clean waters in Clear Lake, and flowing water. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, and the flowing waters. And I think just for your question about better collaboration, I would say first I'm very excited for Sabine's appointment as Deputy Secretary at CalEPA. I think it's really huge that there's somebody like Sabine in that role who understands and has worked with Talaugon Native American tribes as part of her whole career. And I think that is going to go very far in strengthening the collaboration between the California Natural Resources Agency and the California Environmental Protection Agency, as well as our many departments underneath of both the agency umbrellas. And so, again, congratulations to me for your appointment. We're so excited to have you in this role. And I would say that the tribes in and around Clear Lake did an amazing job breaking down the state silos. Our silos are entrenched in how the state of California was created, and it's hard sometimes to break down those walls. And so I wanted to just first say that through tribal leadership and through tribal advocacy, that was so helpful for us, all the state employees to get in the room for all of our states and start figuring out how we can better coordinate together. And so I guess to answer your question, I would say the protection of the Chai and all hands on deck, breaking into the silos is really a great model for other protected species across the state. And I welcome the tribal representatives here in the room. If there's particular protected species that you're aware of and you're like, we need all of the state departments to start working better together for the protection of the species, please don't hesitate to reach out to Sabine and I, because we'd be very happy to play that coordinating role on the state side to be a better partner with your tribal governments and the protection of these important species. But would love to hear water boards and nothing else about it. Sure. Water boards really rock and roll. Like I want to just sing water boards praise this year in the convening the hearing that water board brought in to really get to the root of the water concerns that were facing the fish. So thank you, and your team. The water boards really is a very important resource in space to have those conversations. Who has something to say? Yes.
I just wanted to pass the things back. Not only to CNRA, but also to the tribes. I just want to emphasize Sarah's leadership in really leading the tribes for so many years and really creating a model for the state of California. I also want to uplift the Carib tribe, the Yurok tribe, and the Quartz Valley tribe, who are also leading in similar manners in the Scott and Shasta rivers and protecting salmon in those critical watersheds. In the last couple of days and last weeks, the State Water Board passed a resolution to work on in-stream flows for those watersheds in protection of those fish. And that's really a direct reflection of tribal leadership. And so if there's any takeaways from here is we as state agencies are really looking to partner with tribes to continue that strengthening that collaboration. And I'm really happy Sabine is here to help our agency in that way too. So thank you to everyone.
I just got a question about you mentioned DTSC funding the project or a tribal project. Can you name that tribe and what the project is? Maybe? I don't know if you know.
Hi, everybody. The project was to restore a brownfield, perhaps into a baseball field or something. I can't remember the tribe, but it was restoring a brownfield. Whatever.
Hello, my name is Doris Nguyen. I'm with DTSC. We are working with Europe Tribe on the Brownfield project. If you have any questions, you can come and find me and I'll talk to you afterwards.
Well, I met the liaison or tribal affairs for DTSC, with DTSC, right? And his name is, yeah, that's right. He's not here, right? Okay, yeah, I'll reach out.
So real quick, in the complexities of DTSC, Doris works for the CBCI program that runs the grant program. Andres works for me, runs the tribal affairs side.
Mike Schimmel, Power Valley Tribes. I'm working with the tribe on a climate change vulnerability risk assessment. And you mentioned, I think we're going to rely on information. You mentioned that CARB is working at a climate change risk tool. Can you describe it being workshops so that's not available online yet, or are they looking for tribes? I'm a water person, it seems overwhelming. There's so much information out there, not enough on my own tribe, but there's so much to try to absorb in and climate change risk.
Great question. I think you're really interested. It is currently still being developed. We absolutely want to hear from tribes, like so bad, so desperately. Actually, one of the folks that is with me over at our table right now is the person that really is doing a lot of information on that. And so, if you are interested, I might walk you over and
I got one of your pamphlets at the top.
Oh, okay, yeah. Look for baby, but we'll probably all be there. And we'd be happy to tell you more.
Hi, Sabine, nice to see you again. Matt Small, Regional Science Liaison for EPA Region 9. I just want to put in, since we're talking about fish and consumption advisories and things like that, I want to put in a shameless plug for a presentation on HABs this afternoon, and we will talk about EPA's recent recommendations on sampling for a number of microsystems and also guidance we put out for helping England tribes, including to put together their own fish consumption advisory programs. We also recently put out, and that's at 3:30 in the. Thank you. Captain David. I just arrived this afternoon. I have all the names. But the other shameless plug is for tomorrow. We're going to talk about PFAS and 6-PPD. So we're just talking about salmon. We're seeing a lot of impacts to salmon from 6-PPD. And again, we're recommending part of our recent recommendation for fish advisory, consumption advisory programs includes PFAS. And so that tomorrow at 9:30. Get a little bit more info, but it sounds like there's some great resources that Sabine has available. So hopefully we can, between what you've got available and what EPA is working with, we can help. And then we also are offering some sampling and analysis for microsystems as well as for PFAS. So come by and find out.
Hi, Rob Roy, La Jolla Band of Indians. Sabine, can you track me to the state water resources person that's in the room? Hi there. I just wanted, so I understand that the state board is going to be trying to, bring the different regional boards together and trying to assist with moving forward the tribal beneficial uses work. And I'd like to put in a comment that, down the San Diego region, we've taken the position that all waters in this state and all waters in this country were and still are tribal and indigenous waters. And really like to put in the comment that we very much appreciate that the state board look at adopting that all waters approach that we're doing down in San Diego to apply to the entire state. And then the Lahan region has made some great progress in moving forward with Mona Lake. But that is just one individual water body, and all water, these water bodies are so connected. And so Heidi Brow over there on the floor, our recent Countervascular Award winner, is doing an amazing job about leading the work down in San Diego. And again, just really like to see the state really strongly consider that all waters approach for all waters in the state.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the San Diego tribes who have been working on that concept. As a great follow-up, we actually have a session on tribal beneficial uses tomorrow at 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. in the Edenville room, and we're actually going to be talking about that. And so we're going to be sharing about the feedback we've heard from tribes around tribal beneficial use designation for PACE, and also this request for all waters approach. And we'd like to get feedback on the proposal to have the state water board consider designating the culture and traditional use for as many water bodies as possible. So we're going to be sharing a tool that we've developed and really looking for feedback from tribes around whether or not this is the direction we'd like to see the state go. So thank you for that.
Maybe just a follow-up, is there a reason why you think that it would only be appropriate to designate certain water bodies rather than all?
Yeah, and that's part of what we'll talk about tomorrow, but we'll look at what available data we have and how we might partner with tribes to identify data gaps for that designation process. So we'll share a tool that we have and kind of walk through the information that we have.
I guess in response to your question, working previously at Little Time, I puzzled back and forth on the all waters versus specific waters. We wanted to designate all waters with our ancestral lands for, say, sedgehead, and it would cover all the areas. But my concern would be the state does have other uses, industrial, agricultural, and if you have specific areas, you have ceremonies, full body contact, that those areas would be more protected than other areas. I just get concerns, similar to when we started the whole process of beneficial uses, it's very positive in our community, but there's people out there that push back. And so I see the realistic aspects. Many times, when state water boards try to write permits and enforce permits, they're gonna have to give people some areas to work with. So if you protect all waters and maybe water down the protection of all those waters. Whereas that in specific areas, you can make more protected when the state goes on with its other uses. So I think philosophy, I believe all waters. In today's world where our population and the uses out there, I just question if the state can enforce and implement such a procedure.
Thanks for the presentation. The CalEPA screen version 5, do you have a sense of the timeline of when that will be released? And I missed it. Is it someone from CalEPA?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Paula Talaugon, and I'm the Racial Equity and Environmental Justice Program Manager at CalEPA. So for the CalEPA Screen 5.0, we're taking fall 2025 as we're working differently this time for this update of the tool. We are working on a co-design approach, working directly with 7 or 8 environmental justice groups and tribes to directly influence the process and directly make decisions about what goes into the next version of the tool. And so we're thinking end of 2025.
You're welcome over there, I forgot to mention that our round 2 of environmental justice action grants, we're drafting the guidelines right now. We're expecting those guidelines to go out to tribal consultation in November to December of this year, and then the solicitation to be in January, February of next year.
Hi, Megan Poffenbarger with the Photography and Indians in Southern California. I think the concept of spray days, that application sounds really cool. So I'm excited to see that when it comes out. I was just wondering if something like that or a tool for us to duplicate that for tribal nations specifically could be created or made available alongside the release of that for the entire state. Like that's something that I know the tribe I work for would be interested in applying, and maybe we can make a scaled down version of it using some type of platform or tool kit that could be created would be super useful. So if that's something you all would consider adding on to that project, I think there would be an audience for that.
Thank you. Kelly, could you speak to just tribal applications and spray days and how tribes can be engaged in the continuous development process?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Delia Pablo, I'm the Deputy Director for Environmental Justice and Equity at the Department of Pesticide Regulation. I'm really excited to talk about spray days because it's a really exciting program that we're launching. It's the first of its kind in the nation to give advance notice when pesticides are going to be applied. With that being said, it is a big lift for us to launch the system, and it's been a long time in the making. What's built into the regulation, though, is annual periodic review annually. So we're going to review the system annually and think about updates we can make, improve the user experience. And so there's definitely room for discussion and participation as we get the system up and running. So I'm happy to give you my card and stay in touch about that as well. But for right now, we're focused on getting the system up and running in this current design. But appreciate the comment and the enthusiasm because we're very excited about it. Since DPR is speaking, and I have a necessary question for you. It's on a to-do list and it just hasn't happened yet, and I think it's a good problem. And that is that the forms that are used by agricultural producers to list their months, it's PURs, that's the issue, right? Okay. The forms that they use have codes that they have to put on there for the categories that there's, using the pesticides for. So whether it's structural, it's like what you see in the PUR reports. So it's those categories of waterways or structural or, certain crops. And the problem is that, so we were doing just, looking really deeply into 1 year of pesticide use reports for Clear Lake. And we found that there's like 20,000 pounds of a chemical that just didn't make sense of where this pesticide was applied. Turns out that the code was wrong. So then we asked the local ag commissioner, like, why is the code wrong? And it just took like years to get to the answer to the bottom of it, which was basically that the form itself only has certain numbers on it, doesn't have all the codes. And so the ag commissioner has asked, and then we've asked DPR, same thing, like, can you please update that form so that it has all the codes? Because otherwise, if people are filling the code of the form out, only having gate codes of like 60. And so things get miscoded all the time about, the category that pesticide use happens under, and that is a big deal when you're talking about, miscounting agricultural or, aquatic, pesticide applications. And, anyway, I don't know, I brought it all the way up to the top of it. Just bringing it up in a very public way, that, that form really needs an update that would actually help the Ag Commissioner's office and probably a lot of others who have filled that out, to just be more accurate about, about tracking pesticide use. I think it's really critical when it comes to being able to weigh, what pesticides are doing in the environment. So please help.
Just a quick response, thank you for flagging that. I made a couple of notes, I don't have all of the details on that process, but happy to elevate this and continue having the conversation, so thank you for that.
I have whole emails that I can just forward to you.
That would actually be very helpful, thank you.
I think we have time for one last question.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thank you. Of course. Thanks, Willard.